been taken over. But did you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, Alex, I want to add something to that. The church that I went to down in Southern California was a small group. Wonderful. They had guest speakers all over the country that were main Seventh-day Adventist ministers that traveled nationally. I don't know if you ever heard of this particular one. His name is Bill Hughes.
No, I told you I haven't followed it. I follow the news and stuff. I got my relationship with God. But what I'm asking you is, what else did he say? He just said, well, just don't trouble yourself. Don't get involved in that.
Okay, yeah, specifically on him, just a nice man, clean cut, very intelligent, tall, thin, the gray glasses, very, very distinguished. And
like Ted Bundy.
Yeah, exactly. Weeks later, what he would do, he would sit down the church next to me, and he would talk to me, see how I'm doing. And I don't know if he was trying to do some type of connecting with me there, but we didn't speak much more about it. But
after you talked about the New World Order, he was intelligence gathering on you.
We're on the
I want to hit some more news here, but I want to continue with your calls. It just becomes a quagmire when you try to debate different religious groups and things. All people need to know is that every religious group in this country and every denomination, I mean, it was over 100,000 preachers 4 years ago, and we haven't gotten any intel on it since then. They started out with like 10,000 in 2002 that we know of, and then they kept doubling it each year, and it was well over 100,000 by 2008 or so. And, I mean, it's super creepy. We got the document. It's like, prepare them for the forced inoculation, prepare them to go to the emergency centers, prepare them to turn in their firearms, and that Jesus would want them to. Tell them everything's fine, let the emergency take place, do as you're told, and we'll sort everything out later. And we've got all these manuals and handbooks and everything. And then you see the preacher on TV going, do what the Lord tells you. We'll sort everything out later. Don't trouble yourselves with what's happening. Don't be involved. Do what you're told. And they said on the newscast, the preachers help the government with their biggest threat and problem, the people. This idea like it's government and the federal family, as they call themselves. That's what mafia means, the family, or our thing, La Cosa Nostra. And again, we just do what we're told. Sure, you're walking your dog here in the park. Well, this is a dog walk park. Well, it's not now. It's now Forest Service. Oh, I didn't know that. Give me your ID. I don't have one. I'm walking dogs. Well, you're detained. 10 minutes later, tell me why I'm detained. Well, I got to go. I got to go to work. I'm leaving. Taser. Bzzz. And to them, that's reasonable because they work for narcotics trafficking murderers. Oh, by the way, let me go to this and I'll go to your calls. Issa threatens Holder with contempt. Politico. House Oversight Committee Chairman Darrell Issa threatened Tuesday to hold Attorney General Eric Holder in contempt of Congress if the Justice Department did not provide certain documents in response to the committee's subpoena. So I guess they don't care that Holder threatened to bring out Bush's involvement in this pre-Holder. He's going ahead with it a little bit there. Maybe I'm going to be wrong. Maybe they're not just scoring political points. In a letter to Holder, Issa wrote that this committee will have no alternative but to move forward with proceedings to hold you in contempt of Congress if Holder and DOJ didn't produce documents they demanded relating to the Fast and Furious gun walking scandal. Holder has until Thursday, February 9th, to comply, according to Issa. Issa accused the Justice Department of trying to obstruct our investigation and deceive the public by withholding documents. Really, he got caught lying. I mean, folks, I pointed out a year ago when this broke that they gave press conferences about their gun walking program 3 years ago. They said the Second Amendment's to blame. You have him giving press conferences. I've aired these with Mrs. Napolitano. Three's the charm. Miss Napolitano, or Madam, as they call her in Congress, Madam. I guess she is a madam, pimping us out to the New World Order. Madam, because she runs all the little pimp gropers at the TSA. And she's saying, I never heard of it, never. And then you cut to news conferences with her talking about it. None of this was secret. We knew 6.5 years ago that there was a program shipping guns into Mexico to destabilize things and later blame the Second Amendment before Obama was even on the radar screen. Celica Steele, all the other interviews I've done. It's all on record. And then in February of last year, it comes out in Chicago, national security declared in a Sinaloa drug cartel case where they declared national security and said, we're allowed to ship cocaine in, and you ship us guns. And the government came in and said, national security, we agree it's true, but national security, you cannot bring this up. And then it came out in other cases. This was first on Prisonplanet.com. Our listeners pointed it out to us. We wrote an article. Then it was in El Paso Times, Chicago Tribune, but never a big national story. So they knew it was coming out, so 60 Minutes came out and said, well, they ordered gun shop owners to let people buy guns illegally to track them. That was all a cover. So everybody has that in their head. Oh, the sting went wrong. That was going to be their cover in Oklahoma City if they got caught. It was a sting gone wrong. No. Things went as planned. It's just that ATF people wouldn't go along with it and leaked it. And investigative journalist Wayne Madsen's done the interviews with high-level federal whistleblowers and others off-record sources confirming what we first heard, that Judge Roll and Giffords, who were both, by the way, pro-Second Amendment, in New Mexico and into the Arizona area, they were investigating in both areas. They were even talking to West Texas people that were involved, according to Madsen, West Texas Congress people, U.S. Congress people, about this. And, well, you know the rest of the story, don't you? Okay, let's go ahead and talk to Leon in Nevada. Thanks for holding, sir.
Hey, good afternoon, Alex, and thanks for giving me a chance to report on a couple of things here locally. Last night I went to a local casino here and watched Dr. Ron Paul speak, and I got to say, there was such an amazingly huge crowd. It was probably bigger than the 2008 entire county convention that happened. There was a huge number of people, and when the question was asked how many people planned on being delegates for Ron Paul this season, I think every hand in the place went up. There had to have been, I mean, there was well over 500 people. It was an outstanding event. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was, the continual habitual sabotage that the state party does here seems to be going its way again this year. You know that Sheldon Adelson is a local casino magnate, contributed $10 million to the Gingrich campaign. Well, evidently here about 3 weeks ago, the Clark County GOP decided to have a special caucus after all of the rest of the caucuses were closed through the state. Here in Clark County, they start at 8 o'clock, and I think they're supposed to wrap up by around 3 or 4 o'clock. A special caucus will be held at 7 p.m., coincidentally at a school that has Sheldon Adelson's name on it, the Sheldon Adelson Educational Center. And there's a good possibility that they're going to try to fix the numbers on that. And like I say, again, it's just the habitual sabotage that they keep performing here in this state. You might remember when Aaron Russo ran for governor, they did everything they could to discredit him. They shut down the state convention in 2008 to prevent a Ron Paul win. And then when Sharon Angle got the nomination, they did everything they could to sabotage her campaign, of course.
I remember. Let me comment on that. That's a lot. I appreciate your call and you holding to talk about that, but I need to get to others. But let me just comment on things you've talked about there briefly. Ron Paul's got all these Hollywood endorsements, all these sports endorsements, more bumper stickers and signs everywhere, wins all the major polls, straw polls, raises more money than all candidates combined for the military. So by every other metric, he's the front runner. But they keep telling you he can't win, he can't win. So when they cheat him, you then feel like, well, he must have not won. No, there is fraud going on. But there was fraud 4 years ago. Now they're having more trouble. He's there getting the word out about liberty. And it's exposing election fraud. And it shows people when they give him less debate time and when they do cover him, they're negative. Or when he does win a poll, he'll be number one, so they don't mention who was number one. Or he'll be number two, they don't mention who got number two. That's showing people that it's a rigged fight. You know, Don King had to put on a lot of rigged fights before people finally stopped watching his pay-per-views. And so we point out it's fake. People say, well, that's an oxymoron. Support Ron Paul, give him money, get behind him, but you're saying there's fraud. Not everywhere, but it's enough to throw it. But you get on the field because that's how you expose it. That's not an oxymoron. People that look at things in a one-dimensional way see it as an oxymoron. So that's going on. Also, I'll be honest, I didn't do a lot of research on this. I mean, I've got some background knowledge, quite a bit actually, But I don't listen to neocon radio. I don't follow a lot of what they're up to. I see bits and pieces. And I've now really done some research the last week to see why one part of the Republican establishment is attacking Newt Gingrich and the other half is saying he's basically God, and what's going on there. There's a lot of things. Gingrich is unstable, is dangerous, is connected many Republican leaders. And I said this years ago, but now they're coming out with it, is basically a Democratic operative and tied in with the Clintonistas. He's been endorsed by Sarah Palin, who's a big globalist. He's been endorsed by all these other former senators and people, Thompson, the rest of them. And I actually did some research. He's been endorsed by all the big neocon talk show hosts, all of them. Which is weird because you've got Mitt Romney tied in with Bain Capital that, especially in the past, still to some extent owns most of Clear Channel. So it's really weird. But the reason you're seeing such a attack on Gingrich is, I think, because they know he's got so much luggage that he is basically a ringer any way you slice it. But, I mean, Mitt Romney's a globalist, too, so it's a mess. But I saw an article in the London Telegraph, the New York Times. I mean, there's hundreds of articles I see come across. I don't have time to read them, but I scan the headline. Attacking Drudge. And the normal thing is to say Drudge is dead, no one visits Drudge, when he's got more traffic than ever, more than the New York Times, Twitter, Facebook combined. You can look that up. And then I saw literally articles everywhere, mainly from the controlled left, saying he's endorsing Mitt Romney. Well, I look at Drudge every day. That's not what's happening. Drudge, when there's a big Ron Paul volley, is covering Ron Paul. Or when there's a big deal with, Gingrich or somebody, he covers that. He covers whatever the zeitgeist is. He's got a nose for the zeitgeist. If you want to quote for Matt Drudge, he has a nose for the zeitgeist because it's what he's into. And so they're trying to say he's got some political acts. Well, all the media has their own views go into things. You can tell he doesn't like the TSA. You can tell he's broken in the last 5 years, forced the mainstream media to admit Bilderberg's real by carrying our articles. And now that mainstream media is covering it, he links to them too. I mean, Drudge, I used to listen to his radio show on Sunday nights whenever I got a chance because he was against cloning and all this crazy stuff and spying and surveillance. He gets it. He gets it. He got run out of Fox News because he was pro-life. They don't want somebody up there. They want him to say, I'm pro-life, but then not rock the boat and keep it going. So they've got all these articles coming out, saying, oh, my gosh, he's endorsing Mitt Romney. And that's not what's happening. A lot of Republicans and people, all he was doing is linking to all these articles, pointing out how bad Newt Gingrich is. And when stuff was coming out on other candidates, like Rick Perry, he was linking to it because that's the feeding frenzy. That's the news. That's what's going on. He mainly just covers what is the real zeitgeist on the internet, not the zeitgeist that the prostitutes try to create. He covers the buzz. I'd say 80% of it's that. It's just whatever is interesting. Like you go there's an article about pythons all over Florida killing most of the wildlife. That's interesting. Or tasering a guy for walking his dogs at what was a dog park a week before and now is a national park. That's interesting.